Okay, so question in your workbook, okay, which is we are going to look at for chapter 1 on macromolecules. So we are going to look at first on the MCQ questions, okay. Okay, so question number 1. What is the result of unequal sharing of electrons between atoms? Okay, unequal sharing of electron between atoms in a molecule. So that your answer will be what? What is your answer?
C, a polar covalent bond.
Covalent
Polar.
bond.
So polar covalent bonds involve atoms within the molecule to share electrons so that they obey the octet rule lah, kan?
Yes.
For example, water molecule, the atoms, which is hydrogen and oxygen, which will share electrons and causes the oxygen atom within the water molecule to have a partial negative, bukan to have to have two partial negative charge. Okay, so that's why at the oxygen region of water molecule, it can form two hydrogen bonds with another two water molecule. Okay, and as for the hydrogen region, it has partial positive charge, okay, which attracts another water molecule to form hydrogen bond. Okay. So that is a polar covalent bond. So polar sebab apa dia ada partial positive or negative charge. Okay. Kalau non-polar covalent bond, this is usually, for example, when you come across hydrocarbons. Okay, so hydrocarbon, so they will have non-polar covalent bond. So they don't have any partial charge. Okay, but you still can see molecules such as, for example, phospholipid molecule that have hydrophobic tail. Okay, so the hydrophobic tail are made up of hydrocarbons. So the hydrocarbons of the phospholipid molecule, they are hydrophobic and they can attract to one another through hydrophobic interaction and also van der Waals interaction. Okay, so van der Waals interaction is caused by the movement of electron clouds. Okay, the movement of electron clouds and causes this molecule to be attracted to one another. So non-polar covalent bond, usually you found them they are found in hydrocarbons. Okay, number 2. Which of the following molecules is not formed by polymerization? So the answer will be what?
Lipid.
Lipid. Okay, so lipid. So yang proteins, polynucleotides, polysaccharides, they are they have monomers. Okay, they have monomers and the monomers can be assembled to form polymers. Okay, so for proteins you have amino acids. For polynucleotides, okay, you have DNA and also RNA, and the monomer are nucleotides. Okay, nucleotides. As for polysaccharides, which is carbohydrates, the monomers, there are many types. Okay, you have glucose, you have fructose, you have ribose, you have deoxyribose, you have galactose. Okay, so there are many monomers that exist in carbohydrate. It depends on how many carbons. Okay, how many carbon does the monosaccharide have? Okay, such as, for example, glucose, it will have six carbon. Okay, so dia ada juga yang 3 carbons, 5 carbon, 6 carbon. Okay, so it depends on how many monosaccharide has the carbon atom within the molecule. Okay. So lipid, kita ada a few types kan. Kita ada steroids. Okay, steroids such as cholesterol, and then we have phospholipid, which is component of membranes. Okay, so membrane ada banyak jenis, tapi yang selalunya kita tengok adalah plasma membrane lah. Tapi within cell, You also have other organelles such as nucleus, such as mitochondria, such as chloroplasts. Okay, so those are organelle that has membrane. So the membrane of this organelle is also made up of phospholipid molecule, phospholipid bilayers. Okay, phospholipid bilayer. And then the other one, the other type of lipid, dia ada tiga. So you have steroid, phospholipid, and the other one is triglycerides. Okay, so triglyceride yang saturated fat and also unsaturated fats. Okay, so number 3, which of the following is a polymer? Okay, so nucleotide tak, sebab nucleotide is the monomer for polynucleotides. Okay, amino acids is the monomer for proteins. Triglyceride is a type of lipid. Okay, so ingat lipid is not composed of monomers. They do not form polymers. Okay, so the answer will be RNA. So RNA is a type of polynucleotides. Ingat polynucleotides ni, which is nucleic acid, ada dua jenis, DNA and also RNA. So RNA ni pula dia ada 3 jenis. Dia ada mRNA, dia ada rRNA, dia ada tRNA. Okay, so nanti bila dah masuk dalam part ni, you will know the function for each of these different type of RNA. Okay, mRNA, messenger RNA, rRNA is ribosomal RNA, tRNA is transfer RNA. Okay, so each one will have their own function which involve in synthesizing protein. Okay, so that one you are going to learn in detail during semester 2 next year lah. Okay, next year lah. During semester 2 in the first chapter, which is genetic. Number 4. Which functional group contributes to the polarity of alcohol? Ini senang you pelajar pada sekolah kan, which is hydroxyl. Okay, so hydroxyl, the molecular formula is OH. Okay, so any if a molecule, okay, has a hydroxyl group, it can cause the molecule to be polar. Okay, to be polar. When the molecule is polar, it will increase the ability of that molecule to be soluble in water, or it can cause the molecule to be hydrophilic. Okay, it can dissolve in water where the molecule can interact with water molecule through the formation of hydrogen bonds. Okay. So kalau carbonyl pula, you have to know the formula is C double bond O. Okay, so ada 2 jenis, ketone and aldehyde. Okay, ketone and aldehyde. So you have to know lah apa beza ketone dengan aldehyde ni kan. So kalau ketone, the carbonyl group is located within the molecule. Okay, ketone kat tengah. Okay, cara saya ingat lah. Okay, tapi kalau aldehyde, the C double bond O is located at the end of the molecule, usually at carbon number 1. Okay, awal aldehyde kan, awal molecule tu. Okay, carbon number 1, usually at carbon number 1. Okay. So and then sulfhydryl, SH. Okay, so SH, sulfhydryl. Again, any molecule having either carbonyl, sulfhydryl or phosphate, it can cause the molecule to be polar. Okay, it can cause the molecule to be polar, where the molecule it increases the ability of the molecule to interact with water. It increases the molecule to interact with water. Okay, dia akan menjadikan molekul tu hydrophilic. Tapi bergantunglah, kalau molekul tu besar tapi ada satu je carbonyl group ni, it depends on the molecule, but by having this functional group, it can cause the molecule to be polar. Okay. Okay, sebab kalau phosphate, formula dia PO, to negative, nampak? Okay, so dia ada charge. So dia akan menyebabkan molekul to be hydrophilic, kan? So hydrogen pun sama sebab dia ada sulfur ni. Okay, yang ni pun sama, C double bond O ni. Okay. Sebab apa? Oxygen is more electronegative, right? Okay. So number 5. Which of the following statements is correct about the property of water? So kalau kita tengok salah satu ni, water is a solvent for non-polar molecule. Salah lah. So supposed to be polar. Okay. So water molecule are bound together mainly by ionic bond. Salah lah. Supposed to be hydrogen bond. Okay. So highest density of water molecule occurs at its freezing point. Salah. It is supposed to be 4 degrees Celsius. So if 0 degrees and below, so it causes the water to be in ice state or solid state. So it causes that water that is in ice state to be less dense. Okay, so that's why ice will float on top of water. Okay, water in liquid state. Okay, Okay, so let's leave you with T. Okay, so a large amount of energy is needed to increase its temperature. Okay, so ini yang property air yang pertama dalam nota awak tu lah, high heat capacity tu. Okay, so you need water will need a large amount of heat, okay, to be absorbed, to change, absorb or release. Okay. Large amount of heat to be absorbed or released to change the temperature of water by 1 degree Celsius. Itu that one you have to know the definition of heat capacity tu. Number 6. Why does ice float in water? Okay, so the answer will be A. Okay, hydrogen bonds stabilizes water molecule of ice. So tadi saya dah cakap kan, ice which is water in solid form will be less dense. Why is it less dense? Because the water molecule in the solid state, okay, the arrangement of water molecule, they are fixed to form a crystal structure, and the water molecule will, the space between the water molecule will be further apart, okay, compared to water molecule in liquid state. So for example, kan, kalau tengok kat sini, kalau saya draw, okay, imagine, okay, so this is in ice state, okay, so this is in liquid state. Imagine volume dia sama je, volume ice dengan volume liquid ni, kita imagine dia adalah fix. Okay, kita bagi contohnya segelas air. Okay, segelas air, awak penuhkan air ni dekat dalam gelas, awak letak air juga dekat dalam gelas yang sama jenis. So satu awak letak dalam freezer. So obviously the one that you put in the freezer, dia akan menyebabkan gelas tu pecah. Sebab apa? Ice expand. Okay, sebab apa ice expand? Sebab water molecule tu dia akan start, as the temperature drops, okay, water molecule will move slower, and the arrangement of water molecule to be tend to be further apart. Okay, tend to be further apart because they have to form fixed hydrogen bonds. Okay, so kita belajar one water molecule can form 4 hydrogen bonds with another water molecules. Okay, sekejap, saya rephrase. One water molecule can form 4 hydrogen bonds with another 4 water molecule. Okay, so kalau saya kat sini dia boleh tak? Sekejap, arrangement saya ni macam tak mengalaukan dia to form. Sekejap, saya susun balik semula. Satu, dua, tiga. Okay, so ni this is okay, so nampak, so dia akan form a fixed hydrogen bond, okay, between the water molecule. So ini fixed, so there will be more space between the water molecule, okay, and causes the ice to be less dense, okay, compared to the arrangement of water molecule in liquid state. So liquid state, air tu boleh bergerak, freely move. They will move freely. Okay. Okay. So for the same volume, as you can see, ice, the amount of water in ice will be less, and the amount of water molecule in liquid state, they will be more. So that's why ice ni dia akan jadi less dense. Okay. So lagipun kalau dalam bentuk liquid, air ni dia boleh bergerak dengan more frequently, and there will be the hydrogen bond, okay, between the water molecule akan kerap, break and form. Okay, high frequency for the formation of hydrogen bonds between water molecule, and the hydrogen bond will also frequently break. Okay, so frequent breaking and reforming of hydrogen bonds between water molecule. So that's why ice is less dense compared to water. So water in liquid state there will be more water molecule. Okay. So that's why ice is less dense. Ice can float. Okay. Okay, number 7. Name a bond in the molecule in figure 1. Figure 1 ni it's supposed to be water molecule. Tapi can you spot the error in the diagram? Or ada error ke tak ada error ke, memang sum tu lah so dia punya lukisan dia.
Ada 2 O, 1 H.
Dia terbalik. Okay. So boleh betulkan lah. Kat situ supposed to be O H. Ini salah sikit kat situ. Okay. So this is a water molecule. So the bond between oxygen and also hydrogen within a water molecule involve them sharing electrons. Okay. So if it involve sharing of electrons, so obviously they adalah covalent bond, polar covalent bond. So the oxygen region will have two partial negative charge, and the hydrogen region will have partial positive charge. So oxygen akan form hydrogen bond with another two water molecule here. Okay. Ini tak cantik pula, apalah. Oksigen lah macam tu lah, lebih kurang kan. Hydrogen, water. Okay. So nampak oksigen akan attract with the hydrogen region of another water molecule. As for the hydrogen region, it will form hydrogen bond with another water molecule. Dia akan attract dekat oxygen region. Okay. Sebab apa? Sebab oksigen partial negative. Okay. So kena faham lah konsep yang tu. Okay, so number 8. Figure 2 shows 3 water molecule, identify L. So sama je, soalan dia 7, 8 ni lebih kurang. So obviously the answer will be B lah. Kan? So as you can see, the bond within a water molecule, okay, the bond within a water molecule here, as you can see, it is covalent bond because it involves sharing of electron between oxygen and also hydrogen atom. And remember, kalau dalam soalan, tengok kalau dalam soalan you have to draw, okay, a hydrogen bond. So you must always draw the hydrogen bond using dotted line. Kalau awak draw hydrogen bond ni using straight bold line, dia tak akan membezakan antara hydrogen bond dengan covalent bond. Okay, so you must, if the question asks you to draw hydrogen bonds between molecule, whatever molecule lah dalam soalan tu, you must always draw the hydrogen bond using dotted line. Okay. So number 9, figure 3 shows a solute molecule X, okay, surrounded by a solute molecule. A solute molecule ni solute lah, okay, at the middle, surrounded by water molecule. Solute molecule X is most likely. Is it hydrophobic? Salah lah. Hydrophobic is a molecule that has no affinity for water. Kan, macam contohnya hydrocarbon, the hydrophobic tail of phospholipid, they will be isolated, okay, from water. They do not attract water molecule. They have no affinity for water. Okay. Negatively charged, betul ke salah? Oxygen region, this is the oxygen region. Tadi kita dah tengok oxygen region has partial negative charge. Obviously, molecule ni bukan negatively charged. Okay, sebab negative doesn't attract to one another. So salah lah. So without any charge, salah. So ini sama dengan ni lah juga, kan? Lebih kurang, no charge. Okay, non-polar. So the answer will be positively charged. Okay, positively charged. Contoh, okay, ataupun dia polar molekul lah. Contohnya kalau awak tengok dalam nota awak, okay, awak tengok bahagian yang ada S. Saya nak tanya, ini apa benda sebenarnya? When a water molecule surround a solute, to cause that solute to be dissolved, what is the phenomena?
Hydration shell.
Okay, the formation of hydration shell. Okay, hydration shell. So awak tengoklah kalau contohnya kalau dalam nota awak tu dia bagi glucose, kan? Glucose. So glucose, kalau awak tengok kat structure glucose, this is a rough structure of glucose. Okay, so CH2C, CH2OH. Okay. Ada 6 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So dia ada banyak OH, dia ada banyak hydroxy group, kan? Dia punya susunan OH saya tengok atas bawah ke, nanti kita tengok lebih kurang macam itulah. So each carbon ni dia akan ada OH. So by having many hydroxy group, okay, it causes the glucose molecule to be polar. Okay, so when the glucose molecule is polar, okay, so a glucose molecule is really soluble in water. It can dissolve in water. Awak tak gula dalam air, awak bancuh air, so gula tu hilang. Sebab apa? Sebab dia dissolve. Sebab apa? Sebab ada formation of hydration shell. Okay. Okay, number 10. Dengan saya, kalau objektif pun menjadi lamba. Okay. Because you have to know why is the answer like that. Okay. Sebab kalau dia tak keluar dalam soalan objektif, dia boleh keluar dalam soalan structure. Bila soalan structure, dia keluar dalam soalan structure, obviously you have to explain. So you have to know the explanation for that question tu. Okay, awak kena faham kenapa jadi macam tu. Kenapa jawapan dia macam tu. Sebab kalau tak keluar objektif, dia keluar structure. Okay, so number 10. The secondary structure of protein refers to, okay, protein ni dah ada four level of organization dia lah, kan. Dia ada primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary. Okay, so kalau primary, it involve a polypeptide chain, okay, that they are linear. Okay, so these are the amino acid that are linked, okay, through the formation of peptide bond. Okay, so when you link together amino acid to form a polymer of polypeptide, the process or the reaction is condensation or dehydration, where the process it involve the removal of water molecule. So ini awak kena tengok balik lah reaction tu, kan. Okay, so from primary dia jadi secondary. Secondary ada dua jenis, sama ada helical or pleated, beta pleated sheets. Okay, so kalau kalau coil alpha helix ni, awak tahu dia from a single polypeptide chain. Tapi saya nak tanya, kalau beta pleated sheet arrangement of protein ni, dia melibatkan berapa polypeptide chain?
Dua atau lebih.
Yang lain? Dua juga. Okay, but itu menunjukkan you did not, good attempt, you did not really thoroughly check your notes. Okay, sebab apa? Cuba buka nota awak dekat bahagian secondary structure of protein. Look at the definition or the explanation for secondary structure, especially explanation dekat beta platelet sheet. Sebenarnya kalau secondary structure daripada primary, secondary, tertiary structure, dia melibatkan only a single polypeptide chain. Ingat primary, secondary, tertiary, it only involve a single polypeptide chain sahaja. So kalau kalau platelet ni macam mana pula dia punya daripada single boleh form beta platelet, faham tak? So kalau tengok kat sini, saya tunjuk So this is a single chain. Okay, a single chain. So they must be parallel kan to form the beta platelet. So ini boleh dia akan fold, for example. So kat sini dia boleh jadi alpha helix. Okay. So kat sini dia boleh jadi platelet balik semula. So they are parallel kan. So the two strand of the same polypeptide chain, they are parallel. So when they are parallel to one another, so they can interact through the formation of hydrogen bonds. Faham? So ini adalah beta platelet sheets. So it only involve a single polypeptide chain. Tapi kalau tertiary macam mana pula? Kan? So kalau tertiary sama je. Okay, imagine saya buat macam ni. Okay. Okay, so ini platelet. Ini helical tadi. So ini dia jumpa yang parallel dia. Kan? So ini boleh jadi helical balik. Kan? All the way. So so kalau ini tadi dia form hydrogen bonds kan, beta platelet sheets. So kalau kat sini ada helical, kalau tertiary you have to remember they involve formation of bonds between side chain of the amino acid. Formation of bonds, okay, between R or side chain of the adjacent amino acid yang dia bertemu tu kan. Okay. So bond ni boleh jadi beberapa jenis. Dia boleh jadi hydrogen bonds, dia boleh jadi ionic bonds, dia boleh jadi hydrophobic interaction or also van der Waals interaction, dia boleh jadi disulfide bridge. Okay, it depends on the side chain. Okay, it depends on the side chain. So contohnya kat sini kita ada an amino acid. So kat sini kita ada an amino acid as well. So kalau kat sini dia punya side chain dia ada methyl group. Sini pun ada methyl group. So dia melibatkan interaction between this side chain to cause the molecule. Ini tak ni saya tak nak lah buat CH3 sebab CH3 dia kena dia ada hydrophobic, dia kena isolate. Okay, isolate from the aqueous solution. Imagine yang kat luar ni adalah aqueous solution. So okay, so kita tak CH3 kat sini lah. Ini CH3, okay, kecil sangat kat situ. Okay, so the interaction between the amino acid with side chain methyl ni, dia akan form interaction. So bond atau bond yang terlibat ni adalah sama, bukan bond interaction lah. Dia adalah melibatkan hydrophobic interaction ataupun juga van der Waals interaction. Okay. Kalau side chain dia adalah terdiri daripada hydrocarbons. Tapi kalau kat sini tertiary, okay. Kat sini saya bagi contoh ada side chain yang ada carboxyl, OO negatif. Kat sini ada NH3+. So nampak dia ada charge kan? Acidic amino acid dengan basic amino acid. So dia ada charge, negative and positive charge. So dia akan interact through the formation of ionic bond. Okay, ionic bond. Faham So kalau kat sini dia ada hydroxyl dengan carbonyl. Okay, hydroxyl dengan carbonyl. Okay, so dia akan form hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen dengan oksigen kat sini. Yeah, so dia akan form hydrogen bonds. So it depends lah, kalau kat sini ada sulfhydrate. Okay, dia boleh form disulfide bridge. Tapi disulfide bridge dia kena releasekan hydrogen ni lah. Okay, hydrogen ni tak ada dah. Okay, disulfide bridge. So dia ada ionic bond, dia ada hydrogen bonds, dia ada disulfide bridge, dan dia juga melibatkan hydrophobic dan van der Waals interaction. So it depends on the side chain of the amino acid yang dia bertentangan tu. Okay, to form the tertiary structure. So ingat primary, secondary, tertiary structure melibatkan hanya a single polypeptide chain. Okay, kalau secondary and beta pleated sheet ni, dia hanya melibatkan untuk menghasilkan structure yang macam ni, dia hanya melibatkan hydrogen bond sahaja. Okay, tapi kalau quaternary structure baru dia melibatkan two or more polypeptide chain that combine together to form a functional protein. A functional protein maksudnya protein yang ada fungsi dia lah, macam contohnya enzyme kan. So enzyme they have to attain a globular structure to allow the enzyme to be function. Macam mana enzyme boleh function? Dengan dia ada a specific shape, a specific three-dimensional shape, for example, where dalam enzyme tu ada active site so that substrate can enter. Okay. So macam mana boleh terhasilnya globular structure? Sebab adanya tertiary structure tu lah kan, combination of several polypeptide chain in the tertiary structure combine together to form a functional protein. Okay, functional protein, one of it can be enzyme, another it can be hormone. Kalau itu contoh globular protein. Tapi kalau dia adalah fibrous protein, contohnya collagen kan. So collagen it consists of 3 polypeptide chain in helical structure combined together to form collagen. So collagen is a fibrous protein where the property of the fibrous protein, it is not soluble kan. Collagen jumpa di bawah skin awak kan. So it is under your skin. For example, so the property of the collagen, it must not be soluble in water. Another type of fibrous protein is keratin. Okay, so keratin that are found in your skin, in your hair, they must not be soluble. They are made up of protein that is not soluble. Okay. So sebab apa? Sebab kalau protein yang dalam skin awak soluble semua, lepas mandi awak dah tak ada lah dah, dia dah cair, dia dah larut. Faham? Okay, so contohnya. Okay, so itu awak kena tahulah primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure. Okay. Saya explain lama just on looking at this statement je. Okay, secondary structure. Dalam layar dan seminar explanation. Just to make sure that you understand. Okay. So the secondary structure of protein refers to, apa jawapan dia? Jawapan dia B lah kat situ kan. Coiling and folding of the polypeptide chains. Okay. Okay, so number 11. Which of the following enables protein to function as a buffer? Okay, so buffer in this case is pH buffer lah. pH buffer. Okay, so okay, so dia refer kepada the ability of the protein. So awak tahu protein, dia punya monomer dia adalah amino acid. Okay, amino acid. So amino acid dia special sikit sebab apa? Dia ada both amino group and carboxyl group. So that's why nama dia amino acid. Okay, so bila dia ada both NH2, okay, amino group, and also COOH, okay. So dia boleh bertindak sebagai both acid and base. Daripada NH2 dia jadi NH3+, daripada COOH dia jadi CO negatif kan. Negatif sebab apa? Dia release hydrogen as hydrogen ions. Okay, so dia akan kalau dia release hydrogen ions, dia akan increasekan pH of the solution lah. Kalau dia accept hydrogen ion, kat sini jadi NH3, so dia akan decrease the pH of the solution. So itu salah satu benefit protein lah kan. So dia boleh bertindak sebagai pH buffer. Contohnya dalam awak punya badan ni, the fluid must be your body fluid must be maintained at pH 7.4. If higher or lower than that, it cannot. So your body fluid it contains many protein. Okay, that function to make sure that your body pH is maintained at 7.4. Example, in your blood, okay, you have hemoglobin. Okay, you have hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is protein. Okay, so when your body produces so much carbon dioxide, your body fluid tend to be acidic. Okay, to be acidic. So the hemoglobin will bind to the excess hydrogen ion. Okay, so that to make sure your body pH is maintained at 7.4. Okay, so dia boleh bertindak sebagai pH buffer. So dia punya jawapan dia adalah amphoteric lah, sebab amphoteric is a molecule having both acid and basic property. Okay, acidic and basic functional group. Dia boleh bertindak sebagai both acid and base. Okay. Okay, so number 12. Okay, so which two functional groups are found in amino acid? Dah
C.
mention tadi. Kan?
Carboxyl and amino.
Carboxyl and amino. Remember untuk awak punya peringkat, you must know how to draw the monomers for carbohydrates, which is glucose at least. You have to know how to draw amino acid, you have to know how to draw nucleotides. Okay, kena tahu. So number 13, linear sequence of amino acid represents adalah
Primary structure.
Primary structure. Choose a functional group that is not found in amino acid. Yang mana? Phosphate. Kalau tengok dekat awak punya nota kan, amino acid can be polar, can be non-polar, can be acidic and can be basic. Dia bagi banyak structure of amino acid tu. None of them have phosphate group. Okay, none of them has phosphate group for the side chain, especially at the side chain. Kalau sulfhydryl ada juga kan, sebab ada macam contohnya amino acid, awak tengok dalam tu ada cysteine. Dan cysteine dia ada sulfhydryl group. Okay. Kalau yang ni obviously lah, semua amino acid ada amino and carboxyl. Even side chain pun ada jenis side chain yang ada amino kalau dia adalah basic amino acid. Carboxyl kalau dia adalah acidic amino acid. Okay. Kalau yang ada sulfhydryl, dia jenis apa?
Hydrophilic.
Dia jenis polar. Okay, polar amino acid yang menyebabkan amino acid to be hydrophilic. Okay, hydrophilic. Okay, so number 15. Why do most protein lose their function after being heated at high temperature? Okay, contoh yang paling senang, masak telur. Putih telur tu asalnya, albumin asalnya jernih. Bila awak insert heat and all that, they cause the protein to change its appearance. Kan? So, selalunya bila awak exert temperature, kan, the protein dah lose dia punya function, dah lose dia punya specific shape, kan. So, dia dah tak boleh dah berfungsi yang sebagai yang sepatutnya. So, selalunya kalau protein tu nature disebabkan oleh high temperature, susah untuk nak attain balik dia punya original structure. Okay, sebab apa? Ikatan hidrogen tu dah ikatan hidrogen dalam tertiary structure yang saya explain tadi, yang melibatkan hydrogen bond tu, especially hydrogen bond, dia akan break lah. So tertiary structure ni daripada dia fold into specific shape, dia akan jadi lurus balik contohnya. Okay. So the answer will be okay, D lah. Heat energy breaks hydrogen bonds and disrupt the protein structure. Okay. So habis dah masa. For explanation on part A. So we stop dulu untuk part A.